I am strong. Had a lot of requests to play 7 Panzer since the nerf, and I still believe 7 Panzer is stronger than most divs in the game. I would put it as a high A tier division. And here we're on death row again, and I'm playing 7 Panzer, and I'm up against Vuch, who's playing as 5e division Blindée, which I also believe is still overpowered. I think both of these divisions are above the average. I think they're both still OP. And Vuch is, he's got about as many games as me. I can't remember what his rank was off the top of my head. So I will go over the deployment and then cast the game. So starting with my deployment on the left, we've got one Aufklärer going to here, and that's just to stop him from rushing anybody down this road. Another Aufklärer going to here, and that's to stop an AMX coming down this road. Something you got to watch out for when you're playing against 5e. Then I've got Spezial Aufklärer going here, and Spezial Aufklärer going here. These guys bring the ground surveillance radar, and they've got a bit more strength, so they're very useful to have. Another one going to here, and on the right, another Aufklärer going to here, so to cover this side. In terms of the main forces, we've got one CV going to Charlie, and then the main thrust of my attack is a T-72M leader, two T-72s, two Mott Schutzen BMP-1 SP-1s, so the ones without the ATGMs, and these are all going over to here, and then I'm going to try and push this way across this front. Backing them up to stop air, we've got two KUBs and a supply. And yeah, never buy a KUB by itself, always buy two. And my last unit is a supply going to here. So that covers it for my end. Switching to the deployment of my opponent. So your pretty standard 5e opening. So Dragon Paras are his version of my Spezial Aufklärer, the OP sniper team GSR squad. The difference is that mine costs 15 points more and get an RPG. Whereas his cost 15 points less and don't get an RPG. But yeah, the stats on the sniper rifles are exactly the same. Hang on. Okay, no, they're not. So the Dragon Paras are going to here. And presumably he'll then move up to this building. In which case, you know, because of the pathing, you just won't deploy it there anyway. Backed up by Grenadier Voltigeurs, so these guys go into here. Really strong infantry squad, so they get the 850 meter range. Rocket launcher, the pen on it's not great, but the range is huge. And because of the way accuracy scales with range, the accuracy is actually really high if you're not shooting at a max distance target. And they get 10 strength for 50 points. And a supply. Moving over to the left, we've got a basic AMX-10 RC. These, if you don't know about them, they're these wheeled tanks, and yeah, they're basically the most annoying unit in the game to fight because they've got very good optics, mediocre stealth, 3 front armor, and a max range gun with high accuracy, and so you don't see them before they see you, and then they blow up your recon unit, and then you definitely don't see them, and then as soon as you're in a position to kill them, they drive off because they're wheeled. So very difficult to deal with these units. I think the deck gets 7 in total. 3 of the sublins, which are better than the regular ones, but cost a bit more. See, 1 more armor, 2 more pen on the gun, 18 penetration on a 105mm gun. That sounds reasonable. And yeah, they get about 7. So what, you know, you basically, when you're playing against 5e, you need to count these as you kill them. So you can try and kill them all. So this guy's coming down here, then going here. And then behind that, you know, his attack's relatively similar to mine. So tank CV, AMX-30B2, which is his medium tank. So it's got an autocannon, which makes it very good. It's also extremely fast. A little bit cheaper than the T-72M. Similar armor, good gun. But yeah, the real kicker is this autocannon. And yeah, so we've got one minstrel going over to here, one minstrel going over to here, Grenadier Voltigeurs going over to here, and then the 2 tanks. and of course a supply going to the tanks. Moving further right, we've got another MX-10 Blindée, and there you go. So that's looking down this road, which is why I had that blocking unit there. Backed up by some chocolate eclairs, which are going an interesting route to get here, but I guess if you're covered by the AMX-10, you can sort of do what you want. And then he's got one blocking force here to stop me from coming down and attacking him. Behind that, a CV for the third zone, and yeah, another Minstrel AA piece and some more Grenadier Voltigeurs. I should note that the ones in the middle, like the Grenadiers, Voltigeurs, Atlas, which for 5 points more get what is essentially the best AT launcher in the game, 21 in penetration, 20 RF. I believe it shares the stats with the Russian RPG-29. So yeah, two very strong divisions, two very strong players, if I say so myself, and we'll now cast the game from my perspective because I'm me. Right, so they're off and everybody's going to where we said they were going to go. My pre-prepared cope for today is that I was having a nice cold drink of cold brewed coffee, and the condensation from the glass on the coffee went into my mouse mat because I had it on my mouse mat, and then that increased the friction on my mouse on the mouse mat because the mouse mat was now wet, so the mouse was dragging on the mouse mat. So that made me play a lot worse than usual. Anyway, everybody's going to where we said they were going to go, and first things first, turns out you can't actually do this because the AMX-10 will get a shot off on you, and yeah, I die there. So, lesson learned, I should have unloaded him here, or just even in the middle of the road and just manually walked him, so he can shoot this at the start of the game. And now I'm sort of blind in the center because I can, I can see like this side and I can see this side, but I can't see what's coming down the middle. So that's not fantastic. Yeah, so really strong opening from my opponent. This AMX, I think, spotted this, and then he realized he couldn't push any further, but it's in a really good spot because it can shoot sideways at all this stuff, which I didn't really anticipate. So if you've got tanks here, they can actually be shot in the side by this. So a really good spot to remember if you're a filthy French spammer. So this AMX-10 in the mid, we get a shot off with the T-72 and we hit first time, but because it's got 4 armor, it survives. And then it smokes and then it runs off while shooting. And yeah, if you keep these AMX-10s at max range, they basically can't die. Particularly the Blindée, like I don't think I have anything with the sufficient pen to one-shot these at max range. Over on this side, my T-72s now engage in the chocolate eclairs, and I think they'll finish them off between them. And that early supply coming in handy for me. Vuch's early supply isn't in a great place. Can't really help these guys. But I did lose the Special Aufklärer on this side as well. So given that the availability of these has now dropped to 4, we're having a rough time. So this guy almost dies to a side shot from the 18 pen 105mm gun. But thankfully 7 side armor, so he survives on 2 HP, smoke him back, and then I'm trying to send this guy forwards to see him, because from the house he can't actually see, so he has to be up here to see. Over here I'm losing this side pretty badly. Lost my transport, lost my Special Aufklärer. He could basically walk through here, but we're rushing up some Mott Schutzen in an SPW-70 to deploy beneath the ridgeline so he doesn't get sniped by the AMX. Great use of supply here by my opponent, healing everybody up, keeping those Dragon Powers alive. Over on this side, I send forward a Mott Schutzen just to see what's there, and then start hitting him with the tanks, because I'm pretty sure I've got tank superiority here, because I just blew up a load of his stuff. Sadly, this guy's still shooting from here, and I can't actually see him, because this isn't a recon unit. Once he shot, I would have been able to see that if that Special Aufklärer had survived and been here. So this Mott Schutzen. But yeah, we're just trying to use the T-72s as much as we can. We force this guy to back. I could use really another recon up here, because this guy can't see as far as a regular unit. But yeah, basically move this guy up here, get him to spot things. Over here, this is basically stabilized. He didn't really press his advantage. I guess he didn't know he had one. Although if he'd moved forwards, the recon helicopter would have picked him up and the minstrel's out of position. On this side, I was kind of worried that my tank CV might get sniped and then I'll lose the game off the tank CV getting sniped, so I brought the one out of here into here. And yeah, because we'd spotted that AMX, drove the T-72 up to it, hit it with the front. Both guys hit their first shots, but I have 13 front armor and he has 4 front armor. So that was not a max range gunfight. It was like half the max range, and that's why he got one shot there. Over on this side, you know, both guys hit again, but, you know, I have more armor, so I spotted him with the Recon heli, and then obviously the infantry should go first, and then the tank goes behind. Sadly, I'm forced to back on the Recon, so now I don't actually see this guy, even though he's shooting my men. Soult Hot 2 brought up over here, and then that reminded me that, well, I do have long range. I don't actually have any man pads, so you'll see me bringing man pads out in a couple of minutes. And yeah, this guy's now getting healed back up. I didn't manage to finish him off, and this guy's just dying to these people in this building, which I can't really see, just because the optics on tanks, you know, mediocre is not much. And I'm trying to keep all my tanks alive. I'm not sure if I've lost any tanks yet. Definitely lost a lot of other units. But generally, you know, if they get weak, I'll send them back, heal them up, smoke, etc. Tanks take a lot of time to repair now, which is good. And yeah, I'm trying to keep this guy alive, but I think I fail miserably. Yeah. And this guy's just died. He still can't see it. He still can't see it, and it's hard to tell when you're being shot at by a sniper. You don't get too many notifications. And so, yeah, he's just going to die due to negligence. Over on this side, by sending forwards the Dragon Paras, they see this. But, you know, because of the sight lines, I could shoot that guy. Now I'm going to shoot this guy. And, yeah, he tries to smoke, but... basically, you know, my tanks cost a little bit more, and they're a little bit better. The main thing that he's paying for on his is the speed and the autocannons, and those don't help him here. In a tank-on-tank fight, the T-72 is going to have the advantage. The issue with the base T-72 is that it doesn't actually have smoke. So, yeah, that's not great. Basically, you want this guy at the back now. Gun on it's still great. But yeah, the fact that it doesn't have smoke and you can pay 25 points more for a smoke one is to 7th's detriment. So yeah, this guy got down to 1 HP and this guy's out of ammo now. Can finally see him, but yeah, you know, this the AMX-10 manages to get a shot off here on this guy. I'm pretty sure it was on the front armor. Good use of mortars by my opponent. He knows I'm boxed in here, so why not hit it with some cheap artillery? I have my own mortar brought up as well. It takes a bit longer to get there because it's on a tracked vehicle, whereas his is on a wheeled vehicle. But because he sold the vehicle, this is now open to counter battery. And yeah, I brought some Strellas to deal with these gazelles. Smoke's pretty cheap to resupply, so it's always better to smoke rather than take the hit. And I'm buying a Cat Seer for the counter battery on that mortar. So yeah, he's got pretty good vision on basically all of this. This guy, I just wasn't paying attention, I guess, but he's now run out of ammo. These guys have missed, but they'll get there eventually, so he's forced to change altitude or land. Yeah, he landed. On this right side, my SPW went out here and then got blown up, probably by these guys with this really, really strong 850-meter range rocket launchers. Obviously, the Atlas ones are better. For 5 points more, you get 21 pen instead of 15, but these guys get 6 rounds, these guys get 4, and the Atlas ones, you only get 1 card, I believe. Whereas you get as many cards as you want of the regular Grenadier Voltigeurs. And yeah, the sniper's been resupplied and he's now shooting again and he's going to kill this now. And this can't even see it, even though it's a recon vehicle. Good optics, not good enough, apparently. So I back that one as well and I buy some supply. Really use a bomber to clear this out, but I don't know what his AA situation is. At this point, neither of us have used any air, so we don't know what each other's AA situation is, except this guy dodged a couple Strellas, but not sufficient. And I actually saw all these guys crossing this open field, so I know that there's an attack coming here now because this guy saw all these, you know, he saw the tanks. And then over here you would hope, but sadly he misses, and then because of the autocannons he's now dead. So if you miss your first one against these French tanks, you get messed up. And then I lost a tank here to I can't remember. It might have been one of these guys. Although they're all full ammo, so maybe not. And then this guy's now totally screwed. He'll not get out. Like you see how fast he dies with those autocannons. But at this range, I can one-shot his tanks, particularly when they turn to the side like that. So he's forced to back there. And I know that there's a big force coming here, so I bought one guy, and now I'm buying a few more. The Katsia, I took it off automatic counter battery because I didn't catch this guy. He's not moved, but I just didn't press it in time to catch him. And then, yeah, I'm just hitting stuff with the mortars. I thought there was somebody in this building, but there wasn't. And here we go, cool attack coming for me now. But yeah, I know everything that's in this attack because he's driven them all past this recon. So I know there's two AMX-30B2s. I know there's two... well, I'm not sure if I could tell what was in them, but I knew that there was two infantry, and now I know that there's two more infantry. So I didn't actually see these, so I didn't know there was another set of tanks. And I didn't see these either. So I thought the attack would be a bit smaller than it ends up being. Over on this side, this guy managed to kill that AMX-10 that was here because I brought my own recon this time so they could see each other at the same time. And once again, the AMX-10 needs to be at max range to survive. If it's at half the max range, I will one-shot it with my tanks. The pen on the T-72 is quite high as well. It's like 18, but that's a 125mm gun, so that makes sense. Whereas, you know, 16 on 105, okay, but 18 on 105. Really wacky. Really wacky. So on this side, you know, we're managing to stun the infantry, but we can't shoot the vehicles. We don't have any 850-meter range rocket launchers. So Panzer Jaeger, which are our equivalent of Group Anti-Char, are just way worse because they've only got 500-meter range and 20 pen, whereas the A+ has 21. So I'm hitting it with the mortars now, but yeah, everybody needs to keep going back. And then this guy's going to die now as well, and he can't shoot his AT launcher. I've got another Panzer again. I was buying some T-72s to put him here, try and block it. He's moving up the CV now, and this is a lot of units. So he's pretty weak on this side. Sadly, you know, these tanks that I've been shepherding, I didn't repair them fast enough, but I am now attacking over here because I figure, well, there's actually so much here. What the hell? He must be weak on the other side. It's kind of difficult to attack across here because you might get shot on this side and you might get shot on this side, and that's exactly what's happening. But once again, you know, if I've got my own recon, I'm gonna see him. But sadly, we miss our first shot, and then we hit our second shot, but he doesn't die in one hit because we're almost at max range. And then we miss our third shot, so I'm not having a great time over here. But then he misses his shot, and then he smokes some backs. So on this side, just trying to wear this attack down a bit so that a couple of the AMX-10s went a bit ahead and got blown up by the Panzer. So yeah, you see that he didn't hit both his shots, and then he basically would have immediately got stunned up by the autocannon, but Vuch smoked him back, which he shouldn't have done really. He would have killed that. So yeah, I've been ordering some units for a while. These guys are a bit too far behind. And yeah, this guy survives, and we've moved this guy up to here now. Just because, you know, his fire support fell back, so we managed to move across. Konkos has done a pretty decent job of getting some good side shots on those tanks. You know, because the T-72s are shooting them in the front, and then Konkos shooting them in the sides. I brought up some helicopters, and then the Mirage, you know, one-taps it. But we've got KUBs, so you'd expect that to go down, and it does. Two KUBs, and this guy's infrared missile hit, but sadly the bomber was forced to evac by the Mirage, so I couldn't kill this, and now this is in here. And if you recall, I moved my CV over here, fearing the death of this CV. So now I actually don't have a CV in this zone. So I have to buy another one. I should have sent this one really, but I sort of forgot. So now but he moves it out before he fully caps, so he's only +2, whereas he could have been +4 if he just waited 2 more seconds there. Having said that, I am after him, so I can understand the need to be careful. And yeah, I'm just attacking across here because I figure, wow, there's just so much stuff over here, and I'm killing loads of it, so might as well attack. But then, you know, I can't actually see these guys because my recon has gone over here now. It's kind of frustrating. And then, yeah, I think we got a miss there, and his guys aren't really missing. We missed again, so I end up back in the sky. Because, yeah, no, I can't see this, basically, because of its mediocre stealth. The tank can't see it. I mean, it's not moved, but just can't see it. So he's falling back now with what's left, and I'm chasing after him. I keep mortaring. Oh no, I stopped. And yeah, this is the issue with attacking, right? Because so you get to here, and then he can shoot you in the side, but you can't shoot him. You can't shoot these guys, but they can shoot your guys. And then this guy gets like double tapped by these 2 AMXs, so now I'm at a pretty significant disadvantage here. So I should have left that guy back, really. Over on this side, you know, I built some more tanks, like this guy's repairing. This guy gets side shot by the AMX and then can't see what's shooting him. And then he dies, so that was a bit stupid on me. Should have had some recon. The car wouldn't do it because the car would die straight away. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure I can see this CV, or at least I could. So I got this recon all the way back here now, right? So I can just see his CV now. But I go for these tanks because they're a bigger threat. I don't know what kind of AA is going on, and I don't want to give away the fact that I can actually see his CV. Over on this side, it's going alright, but the infantry has outstripped the tanks. The remaining helicopter that I bought to deal with this, I left here, and now he can shoot sideways across this. So that kind of stops this whole push, because he can't move these forwards because they'll get shot in the side. The Strelos finally pay for themselves. I have to move this guy out. But yeah, with the NSVT, the PKT, and the tank gun, this guy's just getting stunned up and everything by himself, and he's shooting into the front of a T-72. So I believe he missed his first shot. But even if he'd hit, this would have gone this way. For some reason, this guy is like, yeah, there we go. He aimed for the tank instead of the infantry. So he does go down, and the ATGMs on this are pretty terrible, so you'd expect him to miss a lot. But I do see this, as we spoke about. So that goes down, and no long-range AA from my opponent. And I can finally start getting that point lead back. As he attacks across here, the CV tank can come into action as well. I don't want to use it too much because he can just drop a Jaguar cluster on it. Over on this side, we're moving up with, you know, tanks and Pioneer Flams. Could have used a Panzer Jaeger because of what's about to happen now. So, yeah, the TO-55s can't one-shot the AMX-30s, but the AMX-30s can definitely one-shot them. And then these guys obviously don't have AT. So the T-72 traded against one of these, but nobody else could really do anything. This tank here dies, and now he's free to push across here. So even though I'm +3, my side's sort of collapsing. I shouldn't have attacked everywhere. Like, this attack went pretty well, but there was no reason for me to keep pushing here. Particularly with this attack working out. I just assumed that he was... I mean, he definitely was over-invested on this side, but I didn't know that there was these 3 AMX 30B2s here. So he's in my backline now, killing the mortars, but there's no recon with him and there's no recon with me, so whoever shoots first will probably win the fight, and I shoot first because I'm stood still. And he's moving. So, yeah, he's just sort of running them into the tank CV, and the tank CV's killing them all. So with this one, he backs and I back as well, because I really don't want a Jaguar cluster to come and kill me. Like, I've got the KUBs, but the KUBs, you know, will revenge kill, they won't actually kill. So with this guy, I'm just waiting for some infantry to move up. And yeah, just I noticed that he was weak on the AA against 7th, which is quite surprising. So I'm using the AT planes. But yeah, he's moving up here as well. So I got to drop back. So yeah, I overextended by attacking into my counter-attack in 2 places was a bit silly. Should have just been a counter-attack in 1 place. But by attacking here, I got this guy around to here, and he's now got really, really, really good optics. And I've put him to return fire only. So I basically see what he's doing. On this side, like I said, at these closer ranges, at these tank gun ranges, the T-72M will win. Once the autocannons come into play, then not so much. And then, yeah, T-72M versus Blindée, and I could definitely see him that time because Estrella was right here and he just shot. I'm worried about the infantry killing my tank and killing my CV, so bomber comes out for that. This Recon helicopter survived that minstrel. I could have used some more infantry here, really. A bit of an overextension. My Panzer Jaegers show up here, not a moment too soon. Yeah, and like I haven't resupplied this guy. This guy's got 1 round left. Oh yeah, he got the Recon helicopter. So I moved the CV out and then back round to this side because I know that I've got Motschützen coming here. And yeah, you don't send the tank up by itself. You always want infantry in front of it. So over here, you know, we're in a knife fight range, and because he moved into me, I saw him first. That's why you want the infantry first. That's why I killed the infantry. And he puts a CV in here, and once again I can see it because of the Spezial Aufklärer. So I can see that, I know where it is, but he knows where mine is now because I start shooting. Yeah, so infantry first, let the tank shoot the infantry, move up your tank, and then kill him. And yeah, the Eclairs get a crit on this, which messes up its firing computer, so I just smoked it. I don't want it to die. So pretty comfortable lead, but I want to push for more, and I know that now he's overextended a lot, and I killed loads of his units here, so I'm pretty sure that I have a sizable advantage, and I can see all his stuff because of this. So I see the CV, I see this, I see this, I saw all those other things. I don't see this though. This CV finally gets round to here. I just leave it at the back for now. And yeah, so I see the CV, and you might think, well, drive the T-72 forwards. Well, I didn't want to do that. Instead, I bought a Seed, because I assumed he'd bought some long-range AA now, and I bought an AT plane, so that's what I was waiting on. And Seed goes first, obviously, but there is no long-range AA, and then the AT hits him. If it didn't hit with the first missile, it usually hits with the second, because it's 50-50, and the second one, because it's at such a short range, the accuracy on it's really high. So we're up to +3 on this side. Over here, I brought the right unit this time. So, yeah, you always want 2, because if one had missed there, that wouldn't have worked, and that's why I brought... this guy got hit in the side, but yeah, you need 2 hits to one-shot. You need 2 hits to kill that vehicle. Yeah, this is in a really good spot. I'm pretty sure he sees my CVs, both of them. Pretty sure he sees both CVs. But yeah, here now, you know, he can't drive his AMX-30 spam in because the Panzer Jaegers will kill him. And then he's got some sappers, but the tank can kill that. Surprised by his lack of air. There was a lot of situations where he could have just thrown down a Jaguar cluster and killed my stuff. So he brings forwards a Gazelle Hot 2, but obviously at these close ranges it's going to get stunned up. Can't really use Hot 2s over Deep Forest to kill forested units. And at this point, yeah, he GG's. So, GG, well played. Hope you enjoyed the game. So I'm ranked like 19th now. Got about 660 games. Vuch's ranked 70th. He's got about 700 games. He's got less, I've got normal multiplayer games, got quite a few of those. And, yeah, interesting game. Obviously on a map as small as Death Row, it's difficult for him to use his mobility advantage. Yeah, but you know, 5E is still 5E. You spam the AMX-30B2s with chasseurs. And 7th Panzer still 7th Panzer, you spam the T-72Ms. So, not a lot's changed, really. They're both still too strong, in my opinion. Good game, well played. I should have said I am weak.